Alright, today we're gonna be analyzing our own melodies. Our own melodies. These melodies. These. Anyways, we're gonna start off with this melody right here. It's not too good, but it is something. And we're gonna go over what makes it special, even though it's not really that special compared to the next melody I'm about to show you. So I want you to notice one thing with all these melodies that I'm about to show you is how many number of notes they use. That is the most key part of the method, is how many notes it uses and the motifs, which sometimes doesn't really matter that much, but it is a good way to start. It's by making motifs like this, these three notes. That's a pattern. So let's count. How many notes does this melody use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another thing is 5 notes is the golden number for making a melody. It's 5 notes. It's the golden number. That's one thing I have noticed of all these melodies that I've created. Is that they're around 5 notes. 5 notes and up. Anything under that is just lacking. So obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dun 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 dun. This is the 6th note that is really used. And also, what matters a lot, is how many notes you use at a certain given time. You don't want to use your 6th note. You're like all the notes at the same time, over and over. I think it matters how much notes you use at a given time, basically. On to the next melody. You can obviously notice there's a pattern. Obviously, that's what every melody does. They repeat the same thing. But you don't need to repeat the same thing like this in the 2-bar phrase. The next melody doesn't do that. This melody can be replayed over and over. It's that type of melody. And you'll never get bored of it. I think I just peaked on this one. So this uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven notes. You know how 7 is an important number when it comes to anything. And I think I peaked on this one. So you got the descending. Usually, all melodies follow this. They just descend or ascend from the beginning. or sometimes it's an arc. But you want to know about melody structures. You know, all melodies have a checklist. That's basically what you want to do. Is, have a checklist of what the melodies fall. This melody is ascending, descending, ascending, arc. Actually, not an arc. There is no arc. Descending, ascending, descending, ascending, descending, ascending, descending. Then it repeats. 4-bar phrase. And it works. You know, melodies are all mind games. It's just a mind game to trick you to thinking it sounds good. That's basically what a melody does. And it does this by taking control of how your memory works. Because melodies are based on memory. You know, how you memorize something. You always remember something that has a memorable attachment to it. So these first 4 notes, peak. And then these notes after, even more peak. It sounds like this would be one of those catchy melodies that you will hear in a pop song. Not even joking. And it's also very simple. You know, they all start on the first beat. You know, whatever it's called, I don't know. The first box. They all start on the first box. When it comes to rhythm, it's not about how long the note is. How long the note is the quality of the note. But when the note is actually being played is what actually matters. You should always focus on when the note is actually being played. Because, you know, just like the other melody. Most notes... Oh, never mind. No, not like this melody. I'm stupid. Most notes start on the first box of the melody. And so I like the first box of the bar. Whatever this is. You know, this. Right here. The first box. Usually always works for some reason. As you can see, an arc. Yep, used an arc. Descend does the dun dun dun. It goes right back up. It just said nope. But this, I just pressed space bar. Here's an important part. Mind games. I tricked you into thinking that the song was gonna start, just to show you how much melodies are just mind games, you know? Alright, enough. As you can see, I leave a gap here, so you can I leave a gap here, so it gives the melody time to breathe. And to switch notes. You know how usually people say you shouldn't use large interval gaps. Well, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're saying. They just don't know the method. The method is when you're doing something like this, which is risky in a melody. Sometimes it just doesn't sound right. See, if I were to move this to here, it wouldn't sound right. Trust me. See how it doesn't sound right? That's because you didn't give the melody time to breathe. If you're gonna do like a risky interval jump, you have to give the melody time to breathe. You know, that usually works. You know, and sometimes it doesn't work. But usually this type of thing right here, it works because you give the melody time to breathe, you know. You should give the melody time to breathe for at least like one bar. I mean, one column. Just leave one column, just 4 boxes open. See if this works. See, it works. Now let's see how many notes this melody uses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're cooking. 7. I think I counted that right. Let me check again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 notes. This melody uses 7 notes, even though it doesn't look like it. Anyways, that's all the melodies for this song. You know, I really had fun making this one. The first melody. Alright, as you can tell, it repeats. You know, this is one of those melodies. See, not all melodies have to be the same. You know, I'm sick tired of these people saying, you should do this, you should do that. No. Not all melodies should be the same. Every melody should not be catchy. There's no such thing as a catchy melody when every melody is catchy. So, that's just cringe. You know, don't listen to those people. No, listen to me. Yeah, listen to me. Don't listen to me either. Just take note of what I say. And, you know, maybe apply it to your own melodies. See if that works for you. See, others, a pattern. Here's also another cheat code for some reason, is to leave this part open. If you're trying to like move on to the next segment of the melody, is to leave at least 4 boxes open. Let me do what I did last time and tell you how important it is to get rhythm. I mean, to let your melody breathe. see that doesn't sound right. Because you don't give your melody at least 4 boxes to breathe. You know, 4 boxes is the key. Or maybe 2 boxes. Yeah, 2 boxes also works. Unless I'm being stupid. Alright, I changed my mind. Don't listen to what I just said. You gotta use 2 boxes. 2 or 4 boxes. Leave 2 or 4 boxes open to let your melody breathe. And that's, for some reason, sometimes works. But anyways, as you notice, there's a pattern. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And add a note here. And they both have a note in the same column. The same, you know, I don't know what it's called. But one's up and one's down. It's like a variation, basically. And the reason why this works, I don't know. That's what we're gonna find out once we get to the method. You know, once we start actually making the melody, you can, of course, skip to that part of the video. Because, you know, maybe you don't want to listen to this part of the video. Because no one's gonna care about this part of the video. Anyways, let's count how many notes is this melody using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 'So this melody uses 6 notes, which is interesting. Yeah, I wasn't even sure how many notes it was, but anyways, as you can see, this melody uses a 2-bar phrase at the beginning. Now, how I said not all melodies are the same. This melody is different. It doesn't repeat the same like thing, this part, and after it. It changes up. So there's like different types of melodies. Some melodies repeat the same thing twice, and does it again on this part. That's basically what I did for some of the melodies in this video. So listen to this part. You know, analyzing your own melodies is also a good way to understand them. When you actually melodies that you actually like, you gotta. If you make a melody that you actually like, you should analyze it so you can like make more melodies like that. That's also another key part of making melodies. You know, you make a melody that you like, then you analyze it so you can make more of them. Anyways, on to the second melody, which is very interesting. This is one of my favorite melodies I've ever made. This is the outcome. Like, it sounds like this part is singing, you know, It's just one of those melodies. You know, see how it's just the same thing for 3 bars, but then this bar it changes. It's one of those type of melodies. You know, there's all different types of melodies, and people just like, this should be, all melodies should be catchy. This is how you make a catchy melody. Look, guys, this is how you make a catchy melody. Don't listen to them. You know, you shouldn't be focusing on making catchy melodies. What you want to do is make melodies that have a meaning to them. Those melodies will make you actually try to understand melodies even more. Make melodies that have actual meaning to them. Because those melodies teach you a lot about how melodies work. See how, like, the cadence? There's also this thing called the cadence, of course. You know, I noticed that what I like to do when it comes to my melodies is that I like to introduce one last note that isn't used for the last part of the melody. It's a type of thing that I like to do. Basically, yep. So let's see how many notes this melody uses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 melodies? What? I mean, 5 notes? Interesting. There's actually 6 notes, but you know, that sixth note is usually rare. You know, when you're using like more than like a certain amount of notes, you want to make sure you don't use your 6th note. Or let's choose a random number. 5 notes. We're going with 5 notes with this one. No, that's not sorry. I hate the F and the E note. Wait. The F and the E note do not make sense at all. The F and the E note are really hard to make a melody from. Avoid those notes at all costs. Not even joking. Just avoid those notes as much as possible. If you're doing like steps, avoid the F and the E key. I'm not even joking. See, it works. We're only using 2 keys. suck my... I just want to use 5 notes. But it's... This is a little bit different. Because I said not to use the F and E keys. I'm going to have to use the F and E keys. So it looks like I use 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. This sounds like a good melody. Hold on. Dun 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 dun. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Too many. Okay, now it sounds better. See, we made a melody. Let's go. And now applying our knowledge of making a melody, we just... Now let me do the thing that... Let's see how many notes this melody uses. We only created this just now, out of nowhere. It's just that easy. 5 notes. This is guaranteed 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. It is... I'm trolling. 5. It's using 5 notes as intended. And it works. See? It doesn't sound that bad. And it worked. We created a melody and... You know, there's no trial and effort. I mean, trial and error with this one. You know, usually... There's a lot of trial and error. But this one's just calculated. Anyways. Yep. That is the end of the video.
Hee hee, welcome to my outro. Still with you. Ooh. This is my outro. Look, guys. This is my outro. Look at me. I'm here. Look at me. I'm sitting on the couch. Yeah. Oh, there's cooking.
What? There's cooking. Yeah, this is the outro. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, there's no music. Yes, I decided not to use the outro music. Yes, indeed. No, me.